everyone, I'm Larry Chen. I'm a Canon Explorer of Light, and these are the brand new EOS R3 cameras. I've had these cameras for about a month and I've shot almost 100,000 photos with these and who knows how many video clips. My goal with this project was to really put these cameras through their paces as an action photography camera. Without a doubt, after using these day in and day out, these are the best cameras I've ever used for action photography. One of the greatest features of the R3 is the really fast and responsive autofocus. It tracks humans, it tracks animals, and exclusive to the R3, it actually tracks vehicles. When I say vehicles, it actually tracks all different types of cars. We've photographed so many different cars with it, as well as motorcycles. On top of that, because it is a mirrorless camera, there's no delay or no blackout in between autofocus actually trying to achieve focus. That actually came in really handy when we were shooting drag racing. Because the vehicle is accelerating at such a high rate of speed, instead of it trying to achieve focus every time it takes a picture, as the vehicle is moving, the camera is actually doing its absolute best to keep the nose of the car in focus while it's capturing the photos. When it comes to action photography, speed is of the essence. The fact that this shoots 30 frames per second in full RAW is just mind-blowing. The sensor is a full frame back illuminated stack CMOS. It's 24 megapixels and has a much lower rolling shutter distortion. Out of all the action that I shot during this period, I didn't see any distortion whatsoever. When I first picked up the camera, I was thinking that I would actually shoot some mechanical shutter and some electronic shutter. But because of how good the electronic shutter is, I've just been shooting with that. I can turn off the shutter sound and I can shoot silently. That is useful all the time when I'm shooting driver's meeting, when I'm shooting really close to a subject, or if I'm shooting on a film set. When I'm shooting action, I actually leave the simulated shutter noise on because it's letting me know that pictures are being taken, especially when I have thick gloves on and I can't feel my fingers. When I'm firing away, I just want to be assured that pictures are getting taken. One of the most useful features to appear on the R3 is eye control. Wherever you look, it actually focuses on that point, and it's so pinpoint accurate. You actually calibrate it to your own eye. When the subject comes into frame, all you have to do is look at that subject and you can quickly switch between subjects. One of the biggest advantages to shooting mirrorless, specifically with the R3, is that you can focus from edge to edge. You can use it with eye control, you can use it with the touch sensor in the back. Every single time I'm shooting, I can compose the shot exactly how I want because of the fact that I can focus all the way, all around the whole sensor. It can achieve focus in almost no light because of the EV minus 7.5 capabilities of the sensor. On top of that, it can achieve 8 stops of image stabilization when used with an RF optical IS lens. For you video guys, it does shoot 4K 120 with C-Log 3 with oversampled 4K plus RAW movie internal recording. The body itself is great to handle. It's a little smaller than the 1DX Mark III, and it's actually a lot lighter. It's almost 1 entire pound lighter. It feels great in my hand. One of the big features that I love about the 1D series of bodies was the weather resistance, and that's actually moved over to the R3. It gives me confidence when you're shooting out in the field because any weather that hits you, you can keep shooting. Another first for our series body is the vertical grip. It includes those vertical shooting controls, which is so useful, especially when shooting a lot for social. It does use the same LPE19 battery as the 1DX Mark II and Mark III. A feature that can be easily overlooked is the screen. It's so nice to be able to shoot on the ground, above your head, all different angles, and you can shoot video, you can shoot stills without having to worry about reflections. You can see clearly what you're shooting. You can compose the photo or video to your liking. It really is a game changer. This is something I've wanted for so long on the 1D series of bodies, but I'm glad that they have it on the R3 because this is really the game changer. The last thing I wanted to touch on is me changing my workflow from a mirrored camera to a mirrorless for action photography. There are countless advantages to using a mirrorless camera. Of course, using RF lenses are great. They're a lot more compact, they're lighter weight. That means I can carry more equipment with me. When shooting action photography, the decisive moment is what you're trying to capture. And not having a blackout and actually being able to see the action unfold in front of you is so important. You can see the exposure as it's happening, you know, when the subject goes in front of a bright light source or something dark. When you're shooting with a mirrored camera, it's a crapshoot. You know, you don't actually know how the photo will come out. Only from experience, you'll be able to kind of understand what the exposure will be like. With this, you're seeing the exposure on the fly and you can make micro adjustments that way. On top of that, when you're shooting panning and when you're shooting high action, you're always tracking that subject, right? But with those blackouts from the mirror going up, sometimes it could accelerate and sometimes it could decelerate, and you just have to make those micro adjustments based on what you're shooting. With these, it's cheating. It allows you to see the subject the entire time as it's making its movement, as it's darting back and forth. And that just gives you so much more of a chance to capture the action that you want to capture. This is without a doubt the best professional camera I've ever used. It almost feels like they built it specifically for me. The car tracking is next level on the video side and on the still side. It is such a big game changer. The fact that it achieves near perfect focus on whatever we're pointing our cameras at. I can't wait to keep using these. I can't wait to take them to races and car culture events all over the world.